What's up guys, it's Rexce coming to you guys live, and finally after so long I've finally made a video and I've actually advanced a lot more. I've played a lot more Overwatch, played a lot more things, and today I'm here to show you guys an advanced Hanzo guide. Turns out I'm a top 100 Hanzo in competitive. I will put an annotation on the screen to my Overwatch buff tab, so it'll show all my statistics and everything so you can go look at it, analyze it for yourself, do whatever you want. But today I'm going to show you how you could be better with Hanzo. This is a little more advanced, you have to know the basics of it, and you have to learn of it. And first thing you have to know that's very important is his arc. His arc is always going to impact you. Other things I'll talk about later, but this is every single shot, and this is what matters the most, and you always need to angle it. I personally use circle because I'm used to his arc, but I'd suggest default definitely for sure in the beginning, and then after you get used to it, you should definitely maybe switch to something that's less taking up your screen less, and something that's a little more obscure. But if it's one of your first heroes for first time playing him, I definitely suggest using the default crosshair, because then it's able to show you the arc and show you everything that you need to know through him. And it's really helpful, and it's not only with that, but it also shows and helps with Sonic and the scatter. Next thing on the list is learning how to flick. If you're a track person, for example, like you like to play Diva or Tracer or Soldier 76 type of thing, then you're most likely a track person because you know how to track properly. Hanzo, even though you technically can, it is not the most effective way to play him. So I suggest you need to learn how to flick, and with that you need to set your sensitivity to something that you're comfortable with, so that you're able to kind of do a 1-to-1 or even a very slow mouse sensitivity. For example, a very popular streamer Kefri does is he has very low sensitivity, so has a spot on accuracy. So you could do that, or you could have something 1-to-1. If you want, I might want to put my DBI in the comments so that you guys can kind of get a feel for what I do and everything I have. So that's one very important thing. Another thing is with scatter, and what a lot of people do as a mistake first is use their scatter on an enemy but shoot directly at them, which is a very big mistake. You do not want to do that. What you want to do is aim for either a group of people all bunched up together, or to take out tanks. And you could do it to take high priority targets, for example Zarya, who we're sure to have a ult, so you could take her out with scatter. And in fact, you could actually take her all with just one shot. But if you don't have the confidence to do that, you can always get a mercy buff, or of course Zenyatta Discord, or nano boost, but I don't think it's worth using an ult for a target. So that is a very important thing. Speaking of scatter, one very important thing with scatter is to remember that just with Discord it can take out many tanks. For example, if you put Discord on a Zarya, or if you put Discord on a Reinhardt, it instantly kills him easily. You don't even need Discord for the Zarya. And for Roadhog, it takes out most of his health. I believe it takes out 587 health. I'll put up something on the screen if I got it wrong, but it is very powerful. It is not something to underestimate. It is very powerful, and it's an easy way to get at targets and to take a Reinhardt out and push him by yourself. Speaking of Reinhardts, if you know that a Reinhardt's about to come around the corner, best thing to do is to get a Sonic Arrow and prepare a scatter. And even though if you don't have the buffs / debuffs to put on the Reinhardt or to put on yourself, then it is completely fine, because you can still take out a majority of his health, and that will render him very weak. And if you already have your ult, I do not suggest doing this, because you'll just be feeding support ults. But if you have somebody to follow up with you, like a Soldier 76 or so, then you'll be able to easily take him out, and then you could push in, like I said, or just delay them depending on what side you were in. And another very important thing that not a lot of people realize is Sonic. And unlike scatter, I would actually suggest putting it on somebody, because if you tag somebody, you're going to be able to see what their position is, where their teammates are, and just the overall environment they are in. And this is very helpful. But I would consider this if you're more comfortable with your aim, or if you're shooting at a tank, then I'd suggest doing this. And this has a lot more benefits than just shooting in one area, unless you're specifically looking for just one area to cover, so then you could push in. Now, Hanzo's kit, even though it's just his arrows, flow very well together, even with his ultimate. Now you can combo Sonic with all three of his arrows, such as his ult, scatter, or just the regular arrow. And I suggest definitely using this to get a surprise or to get something out. My personal favorite combination is to get a Sonic up and then put a Hanzo ult in there so you can see enemies through the walls and shoot them through and they won't be expecting it. It is a very effective strategy and it is very important to do so. Hanzo's ult, even though a lot of people say is not a very good ult, people might not know how to use it that well. So I suggest how to learn to use it. So first and very most important thing is to never use it close. Not only are you risking missing an entire ult to miss a team or a group of people, but you're also risking, just in case, a Genji deflect into you. And normally when you ult, you might have your team behind you, considering if a Genji is in front of you, and this might lead to a couple of your teammates getting killed and them being able to push in. So the best thing you want to do is go all the way back. If you're ulting by yourself, I suggest going all the way back, using a Sonic, and ulting somewhere. Another big mistake some people do is ulting downward, and you never want to do this because the problem with this is that people will easily be able to avoid this, and once they avoid it, your ult is basically rendered useless. So the best thing to do is to put it in a straight line where people have a harder time escaping. And even if they do manage to escape, they're very weak, so you could easily track them or have your teammates to track them as well. A very well-known combination with Hanzo's ult, it happens to be Graviton Surge. And even though, yes, it is very powerful, there are some things that, just in case you might know one is Zarya, you can do still. One example you could do is May's Blizzard. Assuming she doesn't already kill them, it could be a very good ult, even though I wouldn't consider it very necessary. Another good combo is with Reinhardt's ult, as with Reinhardt's ult, it actually renders them useless and doesn't allow them to fight back, so you could easily take them out with no problem whatsoever. Now the problem with doing these type of combinations is that you might have Zenyatta on the other team waiting for this combo to happen and popping Transcendence. Now a very well-known way of doing this is getting an Ana to counter the entire thing and making his ult useless. So you just counter his entire ult by using yours, Ana's biotic grenade. So that is one way to do so. Another way to counter this is a good old-fashioned pick, and basically just picking Zenyatta first and then going for the grab. But even though this might seem like a good idea, if there's Zenyatta's picked, they'll normally go back because that is a very important teammate picked. So I suggest not doing this. I suggest going for the antibiotic grenade, but you have to have an Ana who's confident in herself to do this. If not, it might be useful to switch, but just in case, I would suggest this. Now, Hanzo is all about getting picks. That is one of the most important things with him. Getting your picks and making your team be able to push through and get the point, capture the objective, go to the payload, whatever. But the problem here is that to get picks, you need to instantly kill them. And to do so, headshots are the best way to do so. So, like I said earlier, you need to learn the arc, and then you'll be able to headshot easier. But of course, if you're not very confident in your aim, or you just don't know the arc that well, the best way to do so is by just trying to hit consistent body shots. Now, whether or not some people think that body shots are better than headshots, or headshots are better than body shots, that's for some people to decide. But if you are more of a beginner, then I would suggest going for body shots, as that will be more consistent and you'll be able to take them out just in a couple of tries, which is going to be very simple. Now, speaking of consistency, one problem I see so many Hanzos do is that they just spam shots in close quarters combat. Now that is a very big problem with this, because if you miss a shot, not only is that only 25 damage missed, but as well as it just renders you useless. So the best thing to do is to actually fully charge bow and arrow and actually manage to shoot and hit them. And this time, if it's close quarters, I don't suggest going for a headshot. I normally suggest going for body shots, as they'll be very weak if they're 75 health. So this will be easy to take them out. 3 punches or just a very simple body shot. Either way, you could choose your own. But do not spam in close quarters combat, as that will render you useless more because you have to draw your arrow more. Or what I would suggest doing is going for just straight body shots. Now, even though I consider this guide useful, please remember that Hanzo even I say so, is sometimes a very inconsistent character. So I would suggest practicing in quick play first rather than comp first, and then you'll be able to practice your skills with him and learn everything about him. Now Hanzo, I'm very confident with him, so I'm able to run him, and some people say just to switch him off and he's a useless hero, and that really depends on the situation, because obviously there's some people who are very good with him and there's other people who aren't the best with him and they should improve, which is why I'm making this guide so that you can improve your game with him. Hanzo is a very fun hero. For me, he's a high risk, high reward hero, and he's definitely one of the more underrated heroes, and I feel like he deserves a lot more attention than what is given to him. So you could play him at whatever you want, whatever your discretion, but I suggest that if you aren't doing your best, maybe you should switch, and it's for the better for your team and for yourself, so you don't tilt as much. One thing with Hanzo's ult is that it does not have to be a killing ult, which is what a mistake a lot of people do. One thing you can use it as is a zoning ult. So if there's enemies on the payload, what you could do is use your ult right on the payload and prevent people from going on it, and so they either have to leave the payload or die on it. And that is a very popular method of doing so. Another thing which is far less popular than this is a smoke screen, as I'm going to like to call it. So I suggest using Okami or Lone Wolf for this because the ult looks a lot bigger, although the hitbox is still the same. The ult is bigger than a lot of the other skins, so it allows for more of a smoke screen. Now, this can be very good potential-wise. For example, you could put him Creole inside the Hanzo, and the enemies won't be able to see, and it works very efficiently. So you could use this however way you want, and just remember that it does not have to be a killing ult to be efficient. Now you have to remember Hanzo has a smaller hitbox, so if you play other projectile heroes, you're going to have to make sure that you're a little more accurate than other heroes, for example Genji, because Hanzo's hitbox are smaller by 30% due to Hanzo being able to one-shot rather than other heroes. So I want you to keep that in mind while you're playing him so that you always know what you're doing and so that you don't miss so many shots and then thinking, oh, I'll hit them. So that's just one thing to keep in mind if you play other projectile heroes. But that is basically it. Thank you guys so much. Here's to my comeback, I guess. By the way, if you guys only watch my YouTube, I want you guys to know that I stream on Twitch. I actually have a new Twitch account because since you guys, if you've been around for a long time, you might know that my name was the Shed Quarters at one point. So that was my Twitch name at the time. So I didn't like that, and it would be a little weird, so I deactivated that account and made a new one, which is named Rexce, and there you could just see me stream. I try to stream at least once or twice or even 3 times a week. I might put up a video when I start streaming so that people are aware of what I'm doing, so, and just make sure to check that, check my Twitter, check everything else. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you guys, and I'll see all of you guys later.